Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Stefan, and in this video I want to show you how to play Kabalevsky's Opus 39 number 18. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and if you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up. Also, I offer online piano lessons. If you're looking for one, there's going to be information in the description below. Kabalevsky's Opus 39 is one of my favorite books for style and technique. Each piece is very different and it's not a boring book. It's very good for beginners from below grade 1 to around grade 1, grade 2. And the pieces have a bunch of artistic and technical challenges, and going through them is going to give you quite a bit of experience. In this video, we're going to look at number 18, which is a very odd piece, I have to say. The right hand on its own is fairly straightforward. It has rows of semiquavers, which obviously is all about lightness in the right hand and accenting that first note and really thinking about the slurs and the phrasing. But the left hand has a very, very odd chordal accompaniment. Every single chord in the left hand is a triad, and you're always going to use 1, 3, and 5. But every single chord in the first section is broken up into the top two notes falling onto the bottom. So for example, the C chord moves and some of these chords don't sound very good with some of the right hand notes, and that might throw you off when you're listening to yourself playing because you might think you're playing the wrong notes. Also, it's not a very standard pattern of changing between chords, so practicing the left hand a lot is going to really benefit you when you put it hands together. Let's start with the left hand. It's in the treble clef in C major, and it says Allegro, and the time signature is 2/4, so we're going to count 2 beats in a bar. And each bar in the left hand has 4 quavers or eighth notes, so very easy, the same rhythm all the way through. Just make sure you separate those slurs. So starting in the C major position, middle C, 1 and 2 and 1. Now as you see, I'm not playing it all slur together. I could do that too if I use different finger numbers, but the book specifically wants you to play 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. So you're basically shifting your hand between the C and the D position, and you need to lift up after the 5 every single time. So drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, and so on. The third bar goes on. The third bar goes on, then going up to G and B, E minor chord, back to D minor, repeat. Climbing. And from C we got to the high C, just going up step by step, so the hand was shifting up one note by note. Then we got to the middle section, which changes the pattern. We still have quavers, eighth notes, but this time the entire chord goes down at the same time, very gently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, shifting down one note to the F, down to the E, and down to the D. And that's the pattern in the middle part of the piece. So it's trying to teach you 2 ways of playing triads. One is broken up in a kind of balancing act, a drop, bounce kind of pattern, and in the middle it's trying to make you practice blocked chords, which can be very difficult if you're not used to them, because it can go down like this, as opposed to a curved, rounded shape, and making sure all 3 notes go down perfectly together, and also that the hand doesn't get tense. So just lightly and very accurately. At the end of that middle section, we go back to the same as the start, but it's going to finish instead of... It's going to finish. So G, B, F and the C major chord in first inversion. So that's the left hand. Practice as slow as you need to, but I would really urge you to practice the shift of the hand because that's going to be the hardest thing to do when it's fast. Right hand starts in the C position as well, 1 on the high C, that's middle C. And we've got 2 beats. The first beat is a group of 4 semiquavers or 16th notes. Lift. So it's a 5-note scale going down, and think of that first note as like throwing a stone into the distance instead of like pushing every single note separately. So every time you have a group of semiquavers, think of the first one as like throwing a ball away and the rest of the notes just follow. So first note and the last one is the important one. That's where you're going. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we've got a staccato and the tenuto, a strong note. Second line is going to jazz it up a little bit. We do the same 5-note scale, but on the G, we're going to do a thumb crossing and staccato. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 4, or 1, 5, whichever is more comfortable. This is very tricky because you have to do that thumb crossing very quickly, and the sequence goes 3 times, and each time you go a third higher. So you finish on the C, then the E, and then the G. C, E, G, and you're finishing on the C. Then we go mezzo piano, but we start on the high C, staccato crotchets, quarter notes, but they have an accent on them, so we're going to play them slightly stronger. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and ta-dee-dum-pum. And that's the sequence again. So first we started in the A minor position, and then we move down to the G position and repeat. And semiquavers, gliding, quavers, and then G position, staccato, and getting louder as we approach that repetition. Now here it's quite easy to confuse the semiquavers and the quavers, or make the crotchets into quavers, but the left hand is counting for you, so it's going to be actually much easier to play it together with the left hand because you've got 2 semiquavers for each quaver in the left hand, and the quavers go together. The final part is the exact same as the start, and you finish again on the E. Now, putting it together is where the trouble starts, because the lift is going to happen inside the right hand slur. So starting in the C position, so as you can see, I'm connecting through the right hand, and when I move from F to G, left hand comes up, but the right hand stays connected. Lift, and here it's even harder because the right hand has the staccatos, but the left hand is connecting. And you still need to separate those groups of 2 quavers in the left hand. Second line gets even harder when we have the thumb crossings. Again, right hand is bouncing, but the left hand is connecting. Again, staccato against legato. And then we get into this middle part where the left hand in the background is playing its chords and the right hand accented notes. Now 2 semiquavers for each note. Together. Semiquavers. Crescendo and back. The ending is again the same as the start, but the final chords are slightly different. We have a G chord, F, and the C chord. A very challenging piece to put together. There's a lot of coordination going on between the two hands, not just because of articulation, but also position changes. And as I said, the left-hand chords, or the chord, not the chords themselves, the chord pattern is very unusual, and it makes it much harder to learn that first and last section. The middle part is a lot easier than the beginning. If you don't do any of the slurs and the lifts and the articulation, it's kind of pointless to play the piece, because that's the challenge of it, and that's what it's trying to teach you, how to balance these things between the two hands. So pay lots of attention to every single slur, however short it is, all the staccatos, and lift up between those slurs. Practice very slowly, and in the end, if you practice it for a good few days, you can go much faster, but make sure the hand stays very flexible, curved, the right hand follows the melody, and no tension is building up anywhere, and also everything stays nice and even. Well, if you have any more questions about this piece, leave them in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, subscribe for more.